Hey guys, so last Friday we read the story Chrysanthemum and we talked about how Chrysanthemum had so many letters in her name. She had 13, which is exactly half as many letters as there are in the alphabet. And then I gave you a little quiz survey that you were supposed to do to tell me how many letters are in your name. So in math this week we are talking about graphing, and so we're going to actually use the data, and data is just like the numbers or the answers that you gave me in your survey. We're going to use that data to create some graphs. So you should have watched the Brain Pop Junior before this video, so you know a little bit about graphs now, and you probably worked some with graphs in kindergarten also. Alright, so I'm going to take the data about the names that I got, and we're going to create a tally chart first. And I'm sorry, I know this is not like perfectly straight. I did my best to draw it straight, but it was kind of hard. First, before we start making our tally chart, I want to go ahead and make a title for the tally chart. The name of this tally chart is going to be, I'm just going to call it Name Tally Chart, because it's all about our names. And then I've already added some labels to it. Right here is where the number of letters is going to go. And then here we're going to tally how many students had that number of letters in their name. And then this says total. We'll count up how many tallies and write the total in standard form there, just like a number. Okay, so my choices for number of letters: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I'm gonna get a different color marker to make our tally so it kind of stands out. So for 3, after I asked everybody how many letters were in their name, there was only one student that had 3 letters, and that was Mr. Ari. Okay, for 4 letters in their name, we have one student also with 4 letters, and that was Jack. With 5 letters in their name, we had quite a few. We had actually 6 students that had 5 letters in their name. So watch how I make these tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if you remember from kindergarten, but when you get to 5, when you're making tally marks, every time you make a set of 5, you have to close the gate. Just like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 counts as the slanted one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I said there were 6 people that have 5 letters. So 6. There's 6 tally marks. A group of 5 plus 1 more is 6. All right, for 6 letters in their name, we had 4 students with 6 letters. So 1, 2, 3, 4. For 7 letters, we had 6 kids that had 7 letters in their name. So again, we're going to make a group of 6 for our tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, when we get to 4, it's time to close the gate for 5. 5 and 6. And then with 8 letters in our name, we had 1 student with 8 letters. Alright, so our tally chart is almost complete. We're going to go over and count up the totals now and write them in standard form over here. So with 3 letters in their name, we had how many students? 1 student. So a total of 1 student has 3 letters. With 4 letters in their name, we had, again, 1 student. With 5 letters in their name, we had, remember, 5 and 6. We had 6 students with 5 letters. For 6 letters in their name, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 students with 6 letters. With 7 letters in their name, there were 5, 6. 6 students have 7 letters. And then finally, with 8 letters, there was just 1 student. All right, so now we have completed our tally chart over the different letters of our names. So now we're going to make it into a bar graph. And I'm going to need to add my labels to my bar graph before I can start graphing anything. Oops, I dropped my marker. Okay, the title of this bar graph is going to be Name Bar Graph. Every time you make a graph, it needs to have a title. If it doesn't have a title, we won't know what the graph is about. So the title is very important. All right, so the title is the Name Bar Graph. And let's see. At the bottom, I'm going to write number of letters. Okay, so some students had 3 letters, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we didn't have 9, but I can go ahead and put it there, 9. All right, and then on this axis, it's called an axis actually, this will be for number of students. Number of students. All right, and then 0 would just be this line here, because if there are no students, then we won't color anything in that had the number of letters. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's very important to always fill out the axes and the title. That way people can read your graph and understand it completely. All right, now we're ready to graph. Oops. All right, so number of letters. We had 1 student that had 3 letters. So we're going to color in 1 bar here. And if you were doing this like with the crayon, I would want you to color it much better than I'm going to color it. It's just with this marker, it may bleed through and I don't want it to get on my wall. So I'm just going to kind of scribble it in, but whenever you do this, make sure you color it all the way. All right, 1 student had 3 letters. How many students had 4 letters in their name? 1 student had 4 letters. So again, we just color 1 bar. All right, now for 5 letters. For 5 letters, there were 6 students that had 5 letters. So we're going to be coloring in 6 bars. So here's 1 bar, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need to color all the way up to here. That's what's nice about a bar graph. You can just count how many squares you need and color those in. So we need 6 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to color all the way to the top. This would be much easier with crayon. All right, so there is how many students had 5 letters in their name. Now for 6 letters in their name, we had a total of 4 students with 6 letters. So here's 6. We had 4 people with 6 letters. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Color this in here. Alrighty. And by the way, I'm just alternating colors, green and blue. That way it's easier to read the graph and you can see it easily. You don't have to do it in 2 different colors, but I like to just because it stands out better. All right, 7 letters. We had 6 students with 7 letters. So we need to color in 6 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm just going to color all of those in. Okay, and then finally, with 8 letters, we had 1 student. So I'm going to color in 1 box for my 1 student with 8 letters in their name. Alright, and there we have our bar graph. And it's always important after you make your graphs to double check and make sure that you have everything correct on there. So I'm just going to go and double check. So 3 students, or 3 letters, there's 1 student. That's what we did. With 4 letters in their name, 1 student. With 5 letters in their name, we had 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can go across this line here and see that it's at 6. With 6 letters in their name, we had 4 students. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to the top, take your finger across. Oh, it's at 4 also. With 7 students, or with 7 letters in their name, we had 6 students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It matches up with 6. And then with 8 letters in their name, we had 1 student. So our bar graph is correct, and we have our tally chart here. So I think your next assignment is to practice making tally marks. So you have a little paper that you got in your Meet the Teacher bag that you're going to be using to practice that. And we'll talk more about graphing as the week goes on.